Now, when you look at the team of the Tennessee Titans, you know this team has a long way to go. It says 80 overall team, but there's quite a bit of players that are probably up for free agency that are going to be crucial to maintaining that overall. So more than likely, we're going to have to wreck this roster before we can actually build it up. So when you look at this squad here for the Tennessee Titans, the things that I'm happy about is that the left side of the line from the center are going to be pretty much intact. Skoronski, Latham, Cushenberry, the goal is to keep those guys together. Moton is not a bad right tackle. He is a veteran though, and he's been in the game since for about 11 years. So whether he makes it or not, greater than this final year, still remains. As you can see though, he did give up 13 sacks. So, he's having some trouble. We may have to consider maybe moving him into the inside. He's 6'5", 325. So that might be an option there for us in that space. We got two good tight ends that I believe in, Michael Mayer and Okonkwo. Both these guys are versatile. They know what they're doing. I'm not worried about them. We do have Calvin Ridley there, along with Tutu Atwell. But the one guy here that I'm seeing, he looks like he might be a third year, and that is Armon Gattis. Armon Gattis has 95 speed, 96 acceleration with 80 catching. He's more of a deep threat with 77 release. We can work with this. So I'm hoping someone like Armon could be a focal point down the road. He was drafted in the second round early in 2025. So I think he could do some work there for us. Looks like they went ahead and signed Kenny Pickett to a decent contract here in Tennessee. Kenny Pickett last year was 15 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Looks like he was hurt part of that year. I could probably see that in the general queue there. Yeah, so he was injured, or maybe he was supplanted by another player there, but it's not looking good for him. Previous year, though, he had 3,900 yards his first year as a Titan, 22 touchdowns for it, but he throws a lot of picks. So that's something I am concerned about there. When you look at his contract, he's got 3 years left on his contract, and it's honestly not that bad. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to give him up, but it's not a bad gap quarterback there. Tyjae Spears is the main back. He's an 84 overall running back there. He's okay, 95 carrying, 84 break tackle, got 93 juke. That's all that screams good, but what I'm looking at there is the injury concern. So we have to figure out how to kind of place him in a good spot there. So I do want to make sure we have a good RB2. And Will Mathis, second year out of Vanderbilt, looks to be that potential guy there. He's got 95 acceleration, 91 speed. Okay, 5'8", 189, so he could be that third down back there that could help us out in that space. And it looks like they got another cat here in Niles Benjamin, 6', 207. They don't have a power back, so I got to figure out how to kind of mix that up there, if I want to go running back by committee or not. When you look at the defensive side, it is not so good, right? We got L'Jarius Sneed, and it looks like they picked up a very good player here in Mitch Crowder. He's been in the NFL now for 3 years. He's an 81 overall corner. Looks like he had a pretty good situation there. He might have been drafted, 6th overall in his draft class. So we got corners there and no issue. Him and L'Jarius Sneed, they're going to do their thing. I'm not worried about that spot. Awuzie is up for contract. We got Roger McCreary here, 82 norm star dev there, and he is on the last year of his contract. So we got to think about how to kind of keep that group together. So the corners actually aren't an issue. It's the safety. Jamal Adams, I can see myself probably cutting him this offseason. And we got to retool this entire safety group right now. You're talking about Percy Butler, who seems to do okay. He's got 1 year left in his contract. We got to think about retooling that entire spot there, because there is not anything that I really like there. And then when it comes to the linebackers, there's a pretty good player here, Milton Dugan. He is now in his second year, 6'4", 255. He's got decent speed and finesse. This guy could be a very good linebacker for us. Let's see where Dugan was. So he was drafted 9th overall last year. So or in the 2026 draft. So that tells me something there, man. He could be a pretty solid guy for this linebacking group. We just got to find another group there and get this depth in order in this space here. So not too bad. Looks like Stonehouse and Reichard. Reichard is kind of a journeyman now, 4 years in the NFL. How did he do? 83%. He missed 4. Looks like might have been probably greater than 50. It's where he made the mistake there. Yeah, he made 7 out of 11, and he was 5 for 5 on he was 100%. So anything beyond 50 yards is where we got to kind of watch ourselves there. Better percentage than the previous year. You look at his contract, he's also up for grabs there. So, you know, Reichard could be a guy that we could be okay with. You know, we got $43 million in cap space, so we got to just watch how we spend it. But it's good to know there. I'd like to keep Stonehouse if possible. We just got to figure out how to build this out. We only got 65 players to include practice squad players, so the Titans have some work to do. So the first thing we're going to do right now is focus on who we'd like to update here. Looks like we got a 5th-year option for J.C. Latham. We're going to go ahead and accept that. Jadobi Awuzie would like to play for us. He'd be more of a slot guy. We'd kind of bring him in. Him and McQuarrie could be that guy. That's not a bad move right there. Oh, it looks like Will Levis and Pickett were fighting for that spot. Let's see where. So Levis had 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That doesn't even make me feel good right there. So both these quarterbacks are definitely shaky. We're going to let Will Levis test the market. We look at McCole Hardman. Looks like he didn't want to sign. Jack Gibbons, no thank you. Myjai Sanders, no thank you. Matt Henningsen, no thank you. We're looking at Poona Ford, nope. Zach Robinson, nope. Jalen Duncan, that's a sad one right there. Like, he was drafted, I believe in his draft class was like a 1st rounder, and he just never did anything, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh no, he was drafted in the 6th round? I don't know why I thought he was drafted way earlier. So maybe I thought he was worth it in 2023, but you know, I guess the scouts got that one right there. Mason Rudolph's up. Dalton Reisner. None of these guys. Stonehouse. So I'd like to sign Stonehouse here. Looks like he's looking for a 2-year deal. I'd say probably like this, maybe. $3.5 million for a punter. I think that's a good deal there. Nope, he is going to head out. It's a fullback. Reichard, I'd say a 2-year deal there. Be that. Let's see if he signs that. Looks like we have to deal with a new punter and a new kicker. Austin Seibert, no way. He was not a good kicker. I saw his accuracy there. Don't know why they had too many kickers. So the only player I truly want to bring back right now is Jadobi Awuzie, who is... Oh, no, he doesn't want to sign with us. So I guess we can't bring up anybody. So we were only able to accept a 5th-year option. So we're going to see 15 players leave. We only have 50 men on the roster here as we head into stage 1. Now, prior to this stream here, I made sure to look at potential players that are up right now on for other teams. So there is some O-linemen that I'm looking at. There's some linebackers. I got like 1 or 2 corners that I'm potentially looking at, some D-linemen, wide receivers. I'm looking at everything, and potentially some players that might be available from the former team that we coach in the New Orleans Saints. So I'm excited about that. We'll talk about those players in just a moment. Okay, so in the first round, we have it set up to where you can have up to 3 negotiations per eval period. And so you can get up to 9 players if we get our bids right. In the second stage, we have the ability to pick up 5 players per eval period, so up to 15 there. And then it's unlimited in stage 3, but I can only offer 1-year contracts in stage 3, regardless of their interest. So when I think about the players that I need to bring on, the first thing I want to think about is my O-line. And right now, I'm thinking about moving Moten into right guard and picking up another veteran. Now, if we were to bring in somebody like, let's say, Ryan Ramczyk, you're talking about a $24 million deal. But if you were to bring in someone like maybe Mike McGlinchey, that might not be a bad deal right there. You're talking about only $10 million for 2 years. Mike McGlinchey's not a bad O-lineman. He's a 77 overall. Decent strength on him, pretty good awareness. We can kind of build that up, and that might not be a bad filler to have right now until we get the O-line infused with some youth. You could bring in someone like Mickey Becton, but what we've seen is he's better as a guard than he is at a right tackle. And right now with Moten, I don't think we can leave him out there hanging to be by himself. Now, another guy that could be pretty good coming over from the Falcons, 9-year veteran Caleb McGarry. He's got similar stats to as McGlinchey, and I wonder how much more of a cost he is to us because he doesn't look that great. Yeah, so he's about the same as McGlinchey there. Conklin, he's a guy that's not bad, but he's always hurt. Spencer Brown coming over from a team like the Buffalo Bills. That's not a bad player to have. He's a 76 overall. Decent strength to him. And when you look at his stats right there, he's got an 80 awareness. His pass block's not that great. So that's something we got to take into account there. He's more of a power blocker than he is a pass protector. So that's another thing to take into account. So if I'm going to grab somebody first, I think what I'm going to look at right now is Caleb McGarry. He's only 32 years old. I say only, but I think if we were to give him like a 2-year deal for like 12 million, I think that's a fair deal for him at 32 years old. Hopefully that's something that can entice him there. Another person that I'm looking to bring in right now, it's going to be in the left outside linebacker position. So the players that are on my list are Tui Pelotu from the Chargers, Frankie Luvu from the former Commanders there. Pretty good ability on his end, 83 speed, 86 acceleration. He's 30 years old, so it's a good veteran to have on the team. I was looking at Yaya Diaby from the Buccaneers, as well as Josh Uche. So those are the 3 linebackers that I'm looking at right now. And there was another player here, Derek Hall. Azeezul Jalari is another guy coming from my favorite team, the New York Football Giants. All these guys could be decent fill-ins, but none of them really want to play for the New York Giants outside of Yaya Diaby. So if I'm going to do this here, I want to find somebody that is willing to look at a favorable deal for a team he wants to play for. So I think we can give him a $6 million deal for 2 years. We're going to try that out, see if we can bring in Yaya Diaby. Another player that doesn't want to play for us, but he's coming over from my former team. The guy that I want to spend some money on today is Mr. Isaiah Foskey. This guy, to me, is a very good player. We do actually got some decent ends. They're just a little lower OBR, so they're more rotational than anything else. I think if we can give this guy $13 million for 3 years, I think that's a fair move for us, and hopefully we can compete. Doesn't look like we can, unfortunately. I don't know about breaking the bank with him. We might have to step back there. Another guy then that I can try to look at that is a right end is Will McDonald. He doesn't want to play for us, so I know I'm going to have to spend some money on him. So we're going to have to flip this real quick, see if we can find somebody on the left-hand side. And they got some decent guys here. Lucas Van Ness, he would be a great addition to this Titans squad there. Miles Murphy was the other guy. We traded some players for him, some picks for Miles Murphy on the Saints. It just doesn't look like it's stuck. He's a former first rounder. I think, maybe there's nothing wrong with maybe bidding on him. He's 25 years old. I'm going to see if maybe we can give him about $11 million a year or $10 million a year. See if that moves the needle for him. And it's going to be close. So I guess if I were to Let's withdraw it real quick. Let's put and try to take him over. So we're going to give him a 4-year deal. I think I'm going to try to give him 11.5 million a year. I think that's a fair move for us. Let's see if that moves the needle for him. It looks like that would be the biggest deal. Myles Murphy to me is a very good player. 88 speed and 90 acceleration. Good strength on him. I believe he's got even a decent I believe he's got even a decent power move. So all that to me screams like we should be able to spend that money on him and it'll be worth it. So those are the first 3 players we're going to go ahead and try to bring in here. Like I said, it's not crazy, but it allows us to focus on the 3 players here that could impact this team right now, and they're going to hit crucial points on this team. So you're talking about Caleb McGarry at right tackle, you're talking about Yaya Diaby at an outside linebacker, and then Myles Murphy. So let's see if we can get that done here. It looks like, folks, we were able to sign Yaya Diaby and Myles Murphy. I think that's a great move for us. Caleb McGarry is still interested, so we're going to have to pull that back. I'm going to keep moving forward right now. So we could cut Jamal Adams. He is an 83 overall. He's got good speed on him, good acceleration, good zone, but as a safety, I don't think he's it. So what I'd like to do now is try to see how would it look like if we converted this man to maybe a right outside linebacker deal. Give him some, or left outside linebacker. Give him some opportunity there to get on the field and help out this young group of linebackers. So he'd be an 80 overall there. I think that's a better move for him. We'll probably move Dugan to the other side there. If we can get Yaya Diaby going, then we'll have that rotation a little cleaner there, which I'd be pretty excited about, because now you're talking about a good veteran there that can help him out. You got Gray that could also work through it. I think that's a good crew there. Yaya Diaby is here, so we'll have a decent rotation, in my opinion, to work through it. Now we got to figure out the rest of the pieces there. So another guy I'd like to bring in is a safety here. Sidney Brown, coming over from the Eagles, coming from a culture that wins. I think that's another helpful for us. This guy is a downhill freaking safety, so he is all about the thumper. Pretty much just a little bit smaller than Jamal Adams, but he's younger, he's faster, and I think that's a good move there for us to attempt to try to grab him there. Another guy I'm trying to grab, he's 28 years old, Jason Pinnock, coming over from my former Giants, my favorite team, the Giants there. 2-year, 5-year deal is not bad. I think that opens up an option there for us. So when you look at the signing here, we were able to bring in a Jason Pinnock, Myles Murphy, Yaya Diaby, and Caleb McGarry. So to help us out with the remaining stages of free agency, I decided to restructure some contracts to open up a little bit more space for us. Michael Mayer, we restructured his contract. That gives us about a little over $1 million in additional cap space. But the big one here, we restructured Kenny Pickett's contract. That's going to give us an additional $12.5 million this year. So you're talking about an opportunity for us to bring in some other players here that are super necessary to build out this team. I don't know if Kenny Pickett is going to be the starter for this year, but now we have some opportunity to maybe bring in another veteran to compete. So this is the crazy part, folks. There is a mock out there where the Cardinals are looking to take Jadarius Fitzsimmons from UCLA first overall. If that were to happen, I'm wondering, in that middle of the draft, could we go ahead and go after their quarterback? Right? We do have Jake Haener, we do have Kenny Pickett, but imagine, folks, if we were to trade the Cardinals for their quarterback right now in freaking Mr. Kyler Murray. He's an 80 overall QB. You're talking about a guy that is 30 years old. He's got all the abilities still. Good speed on him as well. And I believe he's got a decent amount of money on his contract still. He's got 2 years left on his contract. If we were to make this move, right, what could we do? Now, they need a right end, they need a guard, they need a middle linebacker. If we were to give them one of our guys, what would that look like, right? I don't know about giving up Peter Skoronski up. I don't know about giving up a middle linebacker, although Gray could be that potential guy, because with Micah McFadden here, I wouldn't be upset about it. Don't see myself giving up a right tackle. That doesn't really fit with what we're trying to do right now. So I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to have to trade potentially a maybe like a second round pick for, I don't know, maybe a third round pick for Kyler Murray. We'll see if we can do that. We don't have much space. Like if we were to trade them for Kyler Murray, what would that look like? We would have negative $32 million. So in order for us to make this move, I'm thinking we would have to trade someone like Snead, and even then that's not enough. So I don't know how they're going to do it. It's kind of interesting why they're saying they need a quarterback when they got a guy in Dante McMichael. But here's the thing we could do. If we can't go after Kyler Murray, why not take the star dev there in Dante McMichael? He's a pocket passer. Looks like he's a conservative decision maker, unpredictable. He's a balanced QB style. This is a guy here that's got more of a short accuracy throwing, but maybe we can develop this guy, right? He can compete with Kenny Pickett. So if we can't go after Kyler Murray, that might be the move there. We snag a guy like Dante McMichael to compete against Kenny Pickett and Jake Haener. He's got star dev already. Why the hell not? I wouldn't be upset with taking that risk there. And maybe throwing in Gray and getting another pick back later. I'd probably be able to get him for like a third rounder if possible there. But that's kind of interesting, folks. We got a play right here where the mock is showing that they're probably going to take a freaking QB, and I don't see myself being able to trade up. I don't see us doing that to get the QB. I'd rather just kind of stay put. Anything, I could see myself trading back further, folks, to just accumulate more picks for next year and just allow us to play this offseason, this draft right here by ear, and just kind of roll with it. So if we trade back maybe in the later part of the round, grab a player that I probably would be okay with from either offensive or defensive skill position, and then kind of just continue to accumulate picks for next season. That sets us up for a very good opportunity to maybe even snag up another group of players that are maybe available in the block. And that's something we might be able to check out right now, is who could be on the block right now that someone would want to roll with, right? There's some pretty good running backs out there. Bucky Irving. You got some wide receivers that would be quite interesting there. Troy Franklin. You're talking about, maybe we are able to find a defensive end that could be pretty interesting. We can grab depth with any type of potential trades there. I would not be upset with any of these decisions. So Chris Braswell, Lisa Isaac, these are all guys. Braylon Trice, man, I would not be upset with Cameron Mitchell's who I wanted, man, but it's kind of snag Dexter Cummings there from the Cards, Donovan Wilson. There's some pretty good players. So, we gotta think about that, because if the quarterback's gone, then I'd be cool with moving back potentially there. I mean, we could look at the other parts of the draft here. Nate Riley looks to be a top 5 pick. Maybe someone would like to take him. Could go after a defensive lineman. Could go after maybe the best corner projected in the draft. Maybe that could be something to do there. I just don't see myself trying to get too great, man. We could even take we pull back. We even take maybe this QB right here and Brandon Hawley. I wouldn't be upset about that. there's some really good possibilities here for the Tennessee Titans, man. Oh my gosh, I'm wondering right now, right? If we were to do that and we go projection here, and let's see what's out there, right? We could potentially take Brandon Hawley late, and he is 6'3", 227, Texas A&M. He's not a bad player that we could kind of work with there. But there's some players in this draft that I would not be upset about snagging up. I'm wondering though, I mean, the right tackle could be a good future pickup. You look at this guy right here, Russell Poe, folks. So if we move, he's considered a top 5 pick. He's got all the speed in the world. So if we were to trade back and just give more weapons, that might be the move there, folks. Snag up Poe, considered a top 5 pick. And we have him out, man. Just more weapons for Kenny Pickett, Jake Haener. Potentially, we could. I think that might not be a bad move if we were to do that. So that's the strategy I can consider myself doing right here. Is we pull back and we maybe go back to like pick 10 or pick 12, and then allow ourselves to maybe get another second rounder as well. And then we snag up a QB along with a wide receiver in the mix. That would not be a bad day. So we'll kind of play this by ear here. Luckily, I can pause it, and I'm looking forward to this draft. So this draft is a little unorganized for me, but I'm okay with it. I think I'm down to kind of make it work here. So here we go, folks. We are heading to this draft here. First pick overall are the Arizona Cardinals. The decision with him, with what they do, determines where we go. They got Kyler Murray. They got a star dev back there. You know, what do you do in this space? Do you make that decision to kind of cloud it? Is Kyler Murray not the future? I don't know. But let's see what they end up doing here. So for the first pick in the draft, they go after Jadavius Fitzsimmons. The guy has all the stats to really just be the best. That's not a bad move for them. We wish them the best of luck there. So if we were to trade our first round pick, what could we get? And it looks like there's some pretty good picks out there. We would be able to not get, so we wouldn't get our first round pick, but we would get T. Higgins from the Cincinnati Bengals. On top of T. Higgins, we would get a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick this year, and a future 7th. The Bills would give us Dalton Kincaid along with a future 1st and a current 3rd. You got Frank Johnston, a right end from the Buccaneers, along with a current 3rd, future 6th, and future 7th. Cardinals say, hey man, we'll give you a tight end along with a future 2nd, current 4, 7, and a 2028 7th. The Commanders would give us a future 2nd along with a guard. Cowboys say, man, we'll give you Deron Bland along with a 5th and a 7th this year and a future 6th. Look at this. Saquon Barkley would be on the freaking docket here. We would get Saquon Barkley along with a future 3rd, current 6th, and a future 7th. The Giants would give us Malik Neighbors, a future 2nd, 4th, future 6th, and a current 7th. You got Curtis Reddick from the Detroit Lions along with a future 1st round pick, current 5th and 6th. You got, man, none of these are really that enticing to me, man. We're in the AFC. They give us see, these are like weird decisions here. George Pickens, like none of those things would move. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see who is. Let's look at the board real quick. Where does everybody stand? I would be willing to move back. So I wanted to see if I can make a move with the Commanders. We're going to give them the number 2 overall pick. In return, we'll get their first next year, first this year, a third this year, and a 7th. In return, we'll give them a 6th, and we will give them our number 2 overall pick. So the trade's done. We're going to move back 15 spots. I just kind of wanted to see what would happen here. My goal is to just kind of play this by ear. So the Commanders are going to take Kyle Witherspoon there. For us, we're in an okay spot. We get a right tackle taken there in Kelly. Panthers take Greg Divins, a left end. Defensive tackle Brody Green goes to the Rams. You got the Falcons taking Mitch Buchanan, left end. You got the Steelers taking Roberto Garcia. Patriots are going to go ahead and take Greg Parker, corner. The Giants are up. They're going to take Greg Britton, a corner. Broncos are going to take Gordon Howell, right tackle. The Lions will take Deron Johnson, corner. The Dolphins are going to take Al Davidson. The Cowboys are going to take Sammy Barkley, quarterback. Dennis Beckham, going to the Raiders. You got the Bengals taking right outside linebacker David Callaway, and the Jets are going to take Nasir Richardson. So we're up now, and let's kind of see what we can do here. So it looks like we have the ability to trade back again. So we would move back 2 spots with the Bears. We would get a future 7th. The Browns would say, hey man, you move back 5 spots, we'll give you a first, a future that's not great. Bucks will give us a first. We move back 7 spots. We'll get their 3rd this year, future 4th, and a future 7th. Nope. We'll get their first and their 2nd. And their future 3rd, a 7th this year. And the Seahawks giving us some good stuff. Seahawks seems to be the one right now that I'd be pretty pumped about. Everybody else is, the Eagles, we would move back 3 spots. We would get their 6th this year and a 7th. The Dolphins. So it would be the Seahawks giving us a lot. I think that's a bag right there. We'd have to move back though pretty much another step further. Now we would get their 2nd this year, as we already have another 2nd, so that's huge. We would get a future 3rd. That's a big freaking grab right there. The Buccaneers though, we would take their 3rd this year. We'd move back 7 spots. That's an interesting one right there. The Browns would give us a future 2nd. Man, that's interesting there though. We keep playing chicken though, man. Eventually someone's gonna freaking bite, and I don't know how far I'm willing to move back. If we get the Buccaneers, we get another 3rd rounder, which would really help out this team. A 4th rounder next year. I think that's pretty enticing. I don't want to move too far back with the Seahawks. The Rams were too far back, and we wouldn't get a 1st rounder until 2029. The Eagles, we'd move back 3 spots. We get a 6th and a 7th versus the Bears, where we would only get a 7th. So the Eagles are probably the team I'd like to move back to, again, accumulate more picks and give us a chance to kind of build this team up from the bottom. And I think that's the move right there. We'll take the Eagles offer and just continue to move back. Everyone is anxious for us to make our pick. I just don't see myself wanting to do that yet. Eagles take Lonnie Fulcher, a left tackle. You got the Jaguars taking Hunter McGee. The Bears are up, and they're going to take Shaquem Harper. So we're pick number 20. We're just going to keep thinking, right? Could we move back even further? The Buccaneers are saying, hey, man, you move back 5 spots. we'll give you a 2028 third, 7th, and a 7th. The Texans say we'll give you a future 7th. There's still the Seahawks. They're trying to give us their 1st and 2nd and 7th this year now. I think oh wow, look at that. Look at the Lions. They're going to give us basically their entire draft next year. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd next year, along with the 5th, 6th, and 7th. So looks like the Lions are going all in there. That is insane. What a move right there. I think, though, this is where we probably should make our choice, and I'm cool with that. You're talking about a late round pick here, and the player that I'm cool with taking right now is probably going to be Brandon Holly. When you look at this guy right here, his under pressure is not bad. He's an improviser. The guy does a pretty good job at kind of just being aware. He's not the fastest guy. He's got an elite throwing arm though, but he's an improviser. And that's the key right there with the break sack opportunity. He has a chance to compete with our guys, and I'm actually pretty cool with that. So I think this is a move we do here. We feel comfortable with it. We make our decision, and I'm really happy to take him here. So Brandon Holly, welcome to the Tennessee Titans. I think this is a good decision for us. That's another 1st round pick here at quarterback. And, you know, he's a late round 1st rounder, so you don't necessarily have to put him out there now. I think Pickett's going to be fine, but we'll have Holly there at number 3, and maybe he does well in the preseason. Who knows? They're saying he's a true value. It says B-. So Brandon Holly's ranked 34th in true value. We drafted him at 20. So, you know, a little bit of a reach, I guess, but for me, I feel like you need the QB. You gotta take him where you can get him there, and you gotta be cool with that. So we're just gonna keep moving on here, see what's out there. Right tackle Brian Meredith gets taken there. You're looking at Trent McKenzie getting taken. You got Kellen Fitzsimmons, left tackle to the Browns. You got Mitch Grant, right tackle. So a lot of O-line taken here pretty early in this draft, it looks like. Buccaneers are going to take QB Garrett Spellman. Ramon Talley, defensive tackle there. You got Randy Gresham to the Bills. Trayvon Landry there. Packers are going to take Raphael Chapman. Ravens are up. They're getting Trey Lowry, left outside linebacker. Seahawks take Nick McGowan, wide receiver. And then the Chiefs, looks like they snag up somebody here. It didn't show me. They select Teddy Roth, a defensive tackle. So we head into the 2nd round. Shouldn't we have another 2nd round pick? Oh, I only have a 3rd rounder. That's what it was right there. So we're going to see who the Cardinals take. They're going to go ahead and get Jamie Weary, and this is where I want to take that wide receiver, folks. That's considered a top 5 pick here. This is Russell Poe. He is 5'11", 195 pounds, B release, A deep route, 4.24 in the college pro day with a 4.31 at the combine. This guy is all freaking gas right here, dude. Huge play for us, folks. Getting a player like Russell Poe. He was projected round 1 and 2, but he's considered top 5 after us scouting him. I am pumped about this guy. Welcome to the team, Russell Poe. A+, number 2 in true value. He's got elite top end speed, strong hands to make catches through contact, creates separation when stretching the field. This is what I'm talking about right here. 97 speed, 96 acceleration, more speed in this group to help out our quarterback of the future. This is huge right here. I am so glad we snagged him up. I didn't want to wait too long there, and I'm happy that we got that done. So the Saints go ahead and take Steven Johnson, wide receiver there. Panthers are up. They go Sullivan. We're just going to go ahead and skip and get us to the next user pick there. I'm hoping my right tackle is available now, but you never know if he's not. He's not. It is what it is there. It doesn't look like. You go to the favorites. Who is out there still? So we did not get, it looks like all the tackles and stuff are gone. You got to be okay with that. Now the positive, there is a player here that is within our value, and that's Matt Lewis. B zone coverage, A tackle. We do need help in the linebacker spot. And you want to continue to build this team up to be a very good defensive juggernaut. If we can get that in order, I don't think there's anything wrong with what we decide to do here, man. This is a good play. Matt Lewis, 23 years old, a little older, but I think this is a good play for us. Welcome to the team. Matt Lewis is number 30 in true value. We drafted him at 66. Smart, heady defender, dependable tackler, shows good speed. So this is a good move for us. We get a chance to kind of continue to build the defense, and we're making the right moves there. I believe we got another pick. Yep, pick number 81. So within this third rounder here, I think this is not a bad decision for us. We continue to build throughout this draft here and continue to find some of the guys we enjoy at this spot right now. Let's check out the projections here. Where do they got everybody at? There's a halfback here that's not bad. Phillips. We could take another wide receiver if we wanted. I'd say right now where we stand, you know, I don't think there's anybody else that's out. Yeah, so you got some day 3 guys right there. So I'm wondering if we maybe invest in the defensive line here. But knowing this is our second, third round pick, could we trade back? Let's see what we're willing to get here. Bills are going to give us a 3rd this year, future 5th, and a future 7th. Texans will give us a 3rd and a 7th. Minnesota's going to give us a future 3rd. We have a 4th, 5th, 6th this year and a 7th. That's ridiculous. We'd get another 4th. The thing is I don't really have too many guys here, but if we were to move back a little bit, that might not be bad, because that could help us from a cap perspective, and we can kind of fill in some of those spots. But I think I'm going to stay and make a pick. I didn't look at this board that well, to be frank. That's why I wanted to move back in the draft, because I didn't want to hurt us in that aspect right there. So we're actually going to move back. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th this year, along with the future 7th from the Raiders. We'll move back a little bit, give us a chance to think, and we'll have a 4th round pick coming up. But I'm good with that. The Raiders wanted to trade back up to get somebody, and they went and grabbed a free safety in Ashland Birmingham. So maybe they really believed in that. Like I said, for this draft, I am not as excited about this draft class. It's not as strong. We got the main guys that I wanted in the up front, but there isn't anybody here that I'm super pumped about right now, unfortunately, and I gotta be okay with that. When you look at the overall board, there isn't anyone that is super awesome in this spot. So I want to make sure that we can continue to build it out. We need help in so many different areas right now, and I want to make sure we can continue to build out the depth here. I like Vince Moody, 6'4", 247, good vert, decent speed. I don't know, man. You're throwing darts in this range. We got to accept that too. This is a big guy, 6'6", 319. He's the best fit for us. B power move. We do need a defensive end. He's strong as heck. I'm cool with that. We'll take him. Let's see what we get here. What do they say? So the commissioner's back up there. Maybe it was a big play. We got a presentation. Is this telling us that we made the right move? Ooh, look at Xavier Klein saying, hey man, I think we hit on this one. This dude's huge, 6'6", 319. He's like Jeffrey Simmons size. So Oh no, it is not good. It played college basketball for 2 years, shows good anchor and strong push on film, struggles to break free when engaged. Oh no. 90 strength though, man. Probably move him to defensive tackle there. Help him out with the depth in that space. Oh, that is horrendous. We are up right now. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that really hurts. Let's see what we got. Got a corner out there. He is 6 foot. More of a slot guy. Can grab another safety potentially here. And no, this is not good, folks. So I think we go after another wide receiver. Leon Wembley looks like he is a fit for us. More speed, more ability, more agility. We do need wide receivers. I say let's take him, man. Let's make it roll here. 135 in true value. We drafted him 110. Quiet, soft hands, all-star contested catch ability. Does he have NFL speed? 94 speed, 95 acceleration. So we're coming out with the Kansas City Chiefs type of situation here. So we're in the 5th round now, and I am not feeling comfortable with this draft. I'm wondering if we move back, could we get something here? It looks like the Texans are willing to give us a future 4th with our 5th round pick. The Seahawks the same way. I think of which team that's not going to do so well, and it's probably going to be the Raiders. So we'll take their future 4th. That gives us some capital next season, and I got to be cool with that because we do have another pick coming up here in the 4th. So I got to be okay in that space there. Let's see if there's a potential selection, but I'll think about it. So I think this is a move. Daquan Harrington. The guy is a thumper. What I really like about his ability is right here in this skill set. A, block shed, potentially A to C finesse. We get some depth in the strong safety role. I'm cool with that. Him and Sidney Brown can battle it out. Let's see what we got there. D-, he's at 300. My goodness, dude, we did not draft so well, but that's what happens. Typically in the first draft of a new regime, your team isn't as ready, and I guess that's not a bad thing to kind of mock here, huh? We're in the 6th round. We got 2 freaking 6th round picks here. What we got left? Yeah, so typically the first draft of a new regime isn't always successful. It doesn't really turn out too well because your team, your scouts and everything are not there. They're not available yet. So because of that, you're not necessarily going to get the best of players here. Chris Matthews, 6'3", 396. 96. He looks like the best player out there. Day 3 guy. I think again, you know, these are the kind of moves that really help build out the team over time, man. I'm hoping we can get this right here. So now you're talking about 315. It says struggles to get blocks off, finesse moves often stall out, possesses NFL ready strength. So he's strong as heck, but is that going to do anything for him? We'll see. And you're talking about a late round pick, so you can't expect too much there. I'd rather have some bigger guys though that can cover some space, because I want to make sure that we don't have any issues with run game. Which is a 6th round pick. I'm hoping we can get maybe like a 2028 something. Patriots are trying to give us a 6th future, and I think the Jets one's probably a fair deal. I think the Jets one's probably the one I'm willing to do right now, because at least we get a future 6th, then we get another 7th next year. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So we trade out there, and then we kind of keep it rolling here. What do we got? So if there is a player we could take here, is there somebody that could work out for us? Still got wide receivers out there, another potential deep threat. I mean, take another linebacker here. We got Greg McKay, A zone coverage. I mean, we worked on the depth there. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We take a chance on him, see what we got. 348, won't scare a lineman with this power move, shows good instincts. I mean, we just got to continue to fill this roster out. We don't got a lot of positions available, so got to be cool with that. We are in the 7th round. Last pick here. I think this is where I may take another quarterback, because we have the space, and I'd rather compete where we can there. So you got Pyramid here, who's available. Under pressure is pretty solid. His throw power is elite, and he's got, I think this is a steal right here. He's got 6'3", 211, 163 in true value. We drafted him at 220, so I think that's not a bad move for us. We get a chance to have another QB compete, and I'm cool with that. So the draft did not end up the way that I was hoping, folks. I don't think we got 70 players though, so we did fill our roster out pretty well there, but let's see what we got. So you got Brandon Hawley with hidden dev out of Texas A&M, 93 throw power, short accuracy is an 86, 85. I think we can work with this. He's not the fastest guy out there. He's an improviser, but my hope is that he can do some work there and compete with Kenny Pickett and Jay Kaner. You then take a wide receiver here in Russell Poe, who's only a norm dev, folks. Only a normal dev, but with that 97 speed, 80 release, this guy has an opportunity to be a dog on this team. So hoping he works out for us. You just never know. Then we went ahead and snagged up Matt Lewis with hidden dev. They were hating on this guy. 86 speed, 89 acceleration. How can you be mad at this? With hidden dev, we could probably flip this guy over to a right outside linebacker. I think that's the move right there. Get him over to right outside linebacker, have him compete in that space there, and we wish him the best of luck. Then Garrison Stewart ended up not being the greatest of things here. He's got 70 power move. He's not the fastest guy, and this is where I'd probably move him into defensive tackle spot and kind of continue to grow that space there. Maybe move Devondre Sweat around. You got Leon Wembley, who's a 68 overall. Normal dev, but again, the speed's there. We could leverage it, and he can kick return too, so I'm liking that. We could probably use him in that space there for now. Strong safety didn't do so well, and Daquan Harrington, unfortunate there. 85 speed, so we can kind of work with this with a decent zone. So hopefully he kind of competes there in the depth behind Sidney Brown. We went after a Chris Matthews. I thought this guy had some good sets, but I guess not. It's unfortunate, but again, more depth on the line. We're running a 4-3, so I need a lot of depth on that line there. We then snagged up a late round pick here in Greg McKay. Unfortunate there. He is not the dog we thought he was. I'm going to move him over to left outside linebacker. I think he might be a better scheme fit there. This is unfortunate, man, but it's a 6th round pick. Like, what do you expect, right? 80 speed, 90 acceleration. And then our last pick was, I think, a good find. Clint Pierman here. He's a 67 overall, 94 throw power. He's a developmental guy. We can kind of work with him, try him out in the preseason and see how it goes. So overall, I thought we did pretty, it's not bad. Well, I think we hit on our first 3 guys, so I'm cool with that. It is what it is there. Let's check out our division counterparts here. And that would be, so it's the Titans, Colts, right? Colts. So their first pick was Trayvon Landry, left end there. Pretty big freaking dude, but his stats are kind of not that incredible there, so I'm not as worried about him. They snagged up a 2nd round Broderick Grimes. Yeah, so they end up snagging him because we grabbed Poe right before them. They got a 72 overall here in Justice Bishop, tight end. Hilarious. How many tight ends do they have on? They had like 7 tight ends at one point in their franchise. It's kind of incredible. Colts are there. Got the Titans, Colts, the Jaguars. What did they do? They snagged up a left tackle in Hunter McGee. Norm Dev. Oh no, that is not good. They grabbed up a Zach Golson, hidden dev. Okay, not bad. Oof, I don't know about that move. It's the Colts, the Titans, the Jaguars. Colts, Titans, Jaguars, and the Texans. So the Texans snagged up a middle linebacker with Norm Deb, but he's a 75 overall, 91 speed, 92 acceleration. Pretty incredible there. They snagged up a wide receiver in Swinton, Norm Dev. Yeah, he's kind of like a slower Nico Collins, but that's what you need for Stroud. And then they snagged up a strong safety, hidden Dev here, 87 speed. Yeah, that's pretty good for hidden Dev too. They can grow him out of Stanford. So not a bad group. I'd say our division wasn't too bad. When you look at the NFL overall, the best overall player was drafted, and it is unfortunate. It's Jadarius Fitzsimmons here. He had all the traits. He has all the traits to be amazing. I didn't have it in me to trade up. I thought about it. If I did that, what would it look like? But I would rather wait and see what happens, because we might have some cap space next season, folks. And if we do, I'm willing to put money and try to take Kyler Murray if we can't figure out the QB situation. But this is pretty good. I'd say overall, I thought we did well. We ended up being the number 2 player there. We snagged him in the 2nd round. There's Jamie Weary here. He was the other corner. I thought about the corner, but not early. Look at this 3rd rounder. They found a guy here in Isaiah Melvin. So the Cardinals found a really nice, strong safety there. Maybe to potentially replace Budda Baker. Who knows? But that's a good move for them. I don't think anyone grabbed, late 3rd rounder, tight end. So tight ends look like they were. We have Michael Mayer and Okonkwo. I can't see myself doing anything stupid there. I think we found some really good players, to be honest. I think Matt Lewis was a find, man. I'm happy about that. I'm proud about that. Quincy Rivers, 5th round pick, hidden dev. That's a good one right there. That's a good player, but I can't be upset about this, folks. We got all the guys we needed here. We're going to go ahead and set up, and we'll head to the preseason. So we have 5 spots on the roster here, and I'd like to bring in some guys. Lindsey Conway was not drafted out of South Carolina. He's another potential QB that we can get tested, that we can test during the practice, during the preseason. Halfbacks right now, there's a couple rookies here that I would potentially go for, but none of them are super enticing, man. This is not a great group. I'm wondering if we just go over to what running backs are out there. Who am I willing to take a chance on? I'd probably say let's take a chance on a guy that has history of doing some pretty good things. David Montgomery. We're going to bring him along the way here. What other wide receivers are out there potentially? Couple rookies are out there. You got a playmaker in Mike Burgain. Let's get him going. We need wide receivers on this roster, so why the heck not? If we could find another potential wide receiver, there you have it. There's a player here you gotta be okay to try out. The guy is still the guy. A former Triple Crown winner. You bring him in, you let him mentor and do what he needs to do there. That is not a bad find. As far as D linemen are concerned, I don't see myself trying to bring in a crazy player that could really muck up stuff. I'd rather just bring in somebody that, again, it's just about depth. It's about being able to kind of grow some of these guys here. I like having just, do we bring in someone like Joey Bosa, put him on the D line? I do. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's bring in Joey Bosa. So I'm going to retool this roster real quick, and then we will kind of talk through this stuff along the way. So as we head to the preseason, here is what we got here for our lineup. Latham, Skoronski, Cushenberry, Moten, and McGarry. So good veteran O-line here. We're going to have them start. You got Michael Mayer, Coco tight end. Gattis and Ridley are going to handle the wide receiver 1 and 2, but Poe is right behind them. Our second round pick there, Tutu Atwell, Cooper Kupp, Luke McCaffrey, Tajay Spears, David Montgomery's behind him. On the defensive side, we got Jason Pinnock on one end with Sidney Brown on the other. Yaya Diaby, Dugan there. We got Matt Lewis, the rookie, getting some reps potentially there. Jamal Adams, I'm just going to sprinkle him around where I can, just to make sure that our guys get the opportunity. So we're going to see Jamal Adams everywhere. Micah McFadden over Gray. Maybe we'll just do this for now and kind of assess it from there. I think this D-line looks incredible with Joey Bosa being added in the preseason free agency. This is a nice crew here. And as a matter of fact, I think this is where we decide to change his freaking line here to a D-lineman. I think it's fair for Joey Bosa. He's better D-line than he is at linebacker. He's just more of a guy that's going to attack than kind of play that zone there. So pretty happy about that group. We got some youngsters that got good abilities, but I'd rather them not be the starters, more rotation. Mitch Crowder and Snead are going to be the starting corners 1 and 2 there, but Alontae Taylor is not too far behind. I probably like to say Alontae Taylor plays more of a backup on the outside than the inside, but I do have him working on the slot. I got to get the kicker in there right now, but Bergance and Wembley are doing their thing. I didn't realize I had to set up the kicker. This, I think it's because we have the auto roster stuff not on. Maybe that's creating this issue right here, but I'm really happy to see Aubrey doing his thing there at punter, Stonehouse doing his thing. So we got a very good group right now in our space. I think we got a roster that is, in my opinion, better than last year. We were an 80 overall when we started. We're 81 now, 83 on defense. Huge change right here. So we're going to work on our scheme, kind of get the playbooks in order offline, but this is not a bad group. I hope we can continue to attack, kind of see where it goes. We're going to have a three-headed monster in the backfield. Spears just isn't the overall guy that can do it all by himself. And then Tutu Atwell, Cooper Kupp. We got a good mix of veterans, man. Bringing in some guys that no one wanted, and I just need them to kind of do their thing. whatever is left in the tank, I want them to use it here this season, and maybe we can see the Titans fighting against the Texans and the Colts for a division leader spot. So we'll see how the QB goes. We got Holly. We're going to check him out, Jake Kaner, and I picked up a couple UDFAs. We'll try them out and kind of sprinkle them in throughout this thing, but I think we got a good crew here. But that'll do it for us today, everybody. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. Looking forward to the season. We probably won't talk about too much on the preseason stuff. I may show some highlights depending on how I feel, but I don't see myself doing too much there. I don't mess with storylines in the preseason because they are not so great. So we probably won't be showing a lot of that throughout the season too. My goal is to kind of speed up this one, like I said, get further and further into this thing, see how we can continue to build out this series. But I'm looking forward to the next one, y'all. Y'all have yourself a good one. And for now, tighten up.